Wanker! Scrap them all! Fucking get into them! On the Scottish Cafe! 1-0! Fuck them up! Fuck off, you inbred bastard!
Afternoon, Dean.
Afternoon.
Having had the morning to reflect on the night before, what's your final takings from last night's chaos?
I've had to reflect last night as well, as well as this morning. A little bit of a surreal experience. You know, to be involved in a 5-5-all game, you know, is very rare, and you know, probably one that we don't want to be doing too often. Don't mind us scoring 5, but conceding 5 obviously is something that we need to get better at giving big chances away, because the goals, certainly three of the goals were big chances for them, and we have to certainly be better at that. But again, proud of the players in terms of their character, the spirit that they've shown, and the attacking intent. And you know, on top of our 5 goals, we've missed a number of really good chances. We've had a couple of disallowed goals, and we've had 3 or 4 penalty shouts turned down as well. So you know, it could have been an even weirder scoreline, I suppose. But you know, as I said, proud of the players for the effort, the spirit, and the quality that they're showing at the moment.
What does it say about the team and the philosophy, the fact you can draw a game and still get applauded off the pitch like that at Villa Park?
I mean, it shows an awful lot of what we're trying to do. But as I say, you know, as a team, and this isn't just aimed at the back 5, this is, as a team, we have to get better defensively, you know, to not give big chances away. We gave a couple of big chances away against Derby from big straight balls down the middle. You know, less big chances against Birmingham. I mean, Craig Garner's put a superb ball in for Che Adams where he's hit the post. Other than that, they didn't have really many big chances at all. Whereas, you know, last night Nottingham Forest had the 3 big chances that they scored from. So we've got to take them out of the game. But the other side of it, we're creating big chances, and the supporters can see what we're trying to do. You know, they're an educated bunch. I know that, and you know, they like to see good football. They like to see a team that's together. They like to see a team that's working hard for each other and for the supporters, and that's why they're there at the end of the 5-5 game, clapping us off at the end.
I suppose one of the stumbling blocks last season was after big results on a weekend in a derby or something similar, the intensity levels would drop in the midweek games. How have you found that, those levels in midweek games?
No, I haven't seen that at all so far. I mean, you know, we had a big result against Derby, and then players all go away, and then we had a big result against Birmingham City, and you know, we had a big performance last night. It could have been a big result, but it ended up just a big performance. You know, and unfortunately we didn't get the result. But you know, it's 4 points from the 2 home games. You know, I've looked back at the game last night, and we should have won the game. So we deserved to win it. So disappointed that we didn't get all 3 points, but you know, we move on. We learn from the mistakes that we made, and we get better from them, and move on to the next game now.
As a coach, how nice to have your top striker into double figures by the time December hasn't even reached.
No, I'm really pleased for him. I think that's 7 goals he's got now from the 7 games I've been in charge. You know, and he's had a lot of chances. We spoke about last night. He creates a lot of chances himself as well. Great work ethic, great quality. You know, but he'll be the first to admit that some of the balls we're put into him have been outstanding. The quality of our deliveries from wide areas has been very good, and he's been able to get onto the end of them. And you know, he's even earned a goal off his own privates as well.
And Jonathan Kodjia, I want to talk to you about him a little bit. Obviously, when you came in, I think he was on the bench the first couple of games under you. Now started the last 5. How pleased have you been with his improvement? Yeah,
really pleased. You know, when I first come, he'd just come back off international duty, so he only trained one morning with me. You know, and Tammy scored in that first game, and he's been making that number 9 position his own at the moment. I know both Scotty and Kodj would like to play in that position as well. I like to have players in wide areas who are going to score goals, and I believe Kodj can do that. And I was really pleased that he got his goal against Birmingham, and you could see from his celebration how happy he was about that. And he's getting better in that position. I think maybe a bit of tiredness crept into his game last night, and I spoke to him about it, about his reactions at times, and because I'm all for players making mistakes, trying to do positive things, but then it's what you do next, the reaction. And a couple of times in the first half he probably didn't react as well as he could, but that got better once he's told. He's a quick learner and he gets on with it. He's been really good since I've been here. That's all I can say about him.
Fans have been really pleased to see Jake Doyle-Hayes and Callum O'Hare involved in the squad. They've not been called upon as yet, but two players you like the look of?
Yeah, they've been involved in the squad, and we've got a number of injuries to the squad at the moment as well, so it's enabled them to step up. And I'm never afraid to bring young players into the squads, as you'll have seen in my management career. So if you, for me, it's not about age. If you're good enough, you're old enough. It's good to give them the experience of these big games that we're having at the moment, and giving them some experience of it.
Pick up on those injuries. How's Albert Adoma, first of all, after that injury on Sunday?
Yeah, he's still got a little bit of swelling in the ankle, so he'll be struggling for Saturday still. I'm hopeful that he'll be back for the West Bromwich Albion game, which would be a boost for us. Mile Jedinak is also should be back next week into training, which will be good. James Bree, the same, should be back next week into training. John McGinn came through the game last night. I mean, we're still treating him as an injured player, although we played 70 odd minutes last night and until he hit the wall. So it was a bit of a risk to play him, as I said last night, but I thought it was a risk worth taking. With 3 games in 6 days and only 3 fit midfielders, excluding obviously John McGinn because he was injured at the time. I thought it was a risk worth taking, and I thought he did well. We all know what his energy levels are. Hopefully he's come through that okay. No after effects to the injury, which is good.
And Henry Lansbury, what's the initial assessment?
Yeah, Henry's got a hamstring strain, so he'll be another couple of weeks. So he's another one who's out. So as you can see, we've got a few on the treatment table at the moment, which is strange. When I first come in, we was leaving 3 or 4 players off the bench, and now we're adding to the bench from the 23s.
Last 2, slightly longer term. Any timescales on Keenan and Burker?
No, Keenan started training with us now, so hopefully he can get a game in the 23s. To build his match exposure up, and BB's 5 or 6 days post-op, but he's walking around the place. He's having treatment and rehab now, and them sort of injuries, they can be back up on a training ground within 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm hopeful that it's a lesser time for him.
On another note, Alan Hutton sustained his 5th yellow card. You're going to miss him at the weekend, it looks like. It'll be a miss.
Yeah, he will be. He's been an ever-present since I've been in, and he's done really well. Scored obviously wonderful goal against Birmingham. He's a little bit unfortunate to pick up two cautions in the last 2 games, which has meant that he misses the Middlesbrough game. One for celebrating a wonderful goal in a local derby, which I still don't understand them bookings. He's trying to take celebrating out of football, and then one for getting pushed. After the sending off, there was a bit of a melee, and he gets pushed and doesn't like being pushed and gets another caution. So yeah, it would be a loss, but we've got a squad that can fill it.
Going back to Adoma in his position, you've got a lot of options there. El Ghazi, Balassi, Kodja, been playing there. Is that one of the most hotly contested places in the side right now? It
certainly is. I mean, I was very surprised that Forest left themselves 1v1 on the outside, against Kodja and Balassi, and then El Ghazi, and I thought them 3 were superb going forward and created a lot of problems. And with Albert hopefully coming back again next week as well, it gives me food for thought, and all 4 of them know that they've got to be at the best getting that team.
Obviously 3 against Derby, 4 against Blues, 5 last night. Is it going to be the toughest test though against Borough, a team that don't concede a lot of goals under Tony Pulis? I
thought you were going to put me under pressure and say 6 against Middlesbrough.
That'd be nice.
No, I mean, listen, Middlesbrough already have started the season extremely well, most clean sheets throughout the whole of the leagues. So They've got a very good defensive record. We always expected them to be up and about the top 2 and top 6, and that's proving to be. And you know, Tony, I was fortunate enough to go to the 1,000 Club LMA put a meal on last year for the likes of Tony Pulis, John Toshack, Sven-Göran Eriksson, Carlo Ancelotti. You know, them sort of names managing 1,000 games. So I've got an awful lot of respect for what he has done in the game, and you know, he's got another team that's now challenging in the to go up to the Premier League. So it's going to be a real tough test for us, and one I'm looking forward to. That's for sure.
Like you say, they're a front runner in that regard. How much are you looking at the points, the table, and the difference, and the chance to close that gap?
Yeah, at the moment I'm not looking at the table. I'm just looking at the next game to try and get 3 points. You know, it's been made out a few times about the tough run that we've got coming up. You know, allegedly that started against Derby. For me, it started on the first game because, you know, every game we play, we try to win. That's our mindset going into each game. But we also know that every game in this league is tough. You know, but we went to Derby and won. We played Birmingham City at home and won, and played Nottingham Forest, who won the form teams and should have won. So, you know, we're on the right track. We now have to go with that mindset to Middlesbrough, another front runner, and we'll try and win that game as well.
Expecting a few less goals this weekend?
I certainly hope so, yes. But maybe 5 for us would do, but certainly less from the opposition.